In this video, we're going to share with you how you can use the scan to create to easily and quickly create forms. Now, this comes in really handy if you have a form that has lots of custom multiple choice or different question types, various question styles, custom headers or custom numbering. All of those take a little bit of time to create, so you can just save a few minutes by scanning to create that form and then making your modifications from there. So I have a paper form, but you can do this digitally as well, which I'll show you towards the end. So I'm going to take this form, and this is the best way to think about using this is if you don't have this form already in your account. If you have the form in your account, you can just create a clone, but maybe the form came from another teacher and you really like the layout of it, or you just wanted to scan it and develop it from there to change it. So this will just save you some time. Or it could be one of our sample forms that come from GradeCam that you don't know how to use that question type or don't know quite how to set up that form. So if you scan to create it, you can see what that looks like and then build it to match your needs in your classroom. So let's go ahead and get started to show you how to do this. So I'm going to jump on over to my GradeCam account. I do not have this form already in my account, so I need to scan to add it in as an assignment. So I'm going to hit New, Multiple Question, and I'm just going to call it Scan to Create. Once I've done that, I have to tell you how many questions I need. So that way it knows how many questions to pull in and scan properly. So I just did a quick look over at my form and saw that I had 18. So I'm going to change this to 18. Hit Save. Now when it creates the assignment, you see that it's a pretty standard and default, the one that comes in all the time whenever you create a new assignment. So very simply, just make sure you're under the keys icon, and I place it under my document camera so that it can scan that form. This one's going to record as blank because I haven't answered any of the questions yet. I'm going to bring in questions and answers, and you'll see here that it adjusted all my different multiple choice, which I had customized. I had some true false here, and then I had a rubric with capture and a fill in the blank towards the bottom. What also is nice is it brings in that custom numbering, but it also brings in your custom headers. So if you have long instructions that you didn't want to have to retype each time and just save a few minutes, it brings that over as well. So I can make adjustments from this point if I need to. Another way that this comes in handy is if you have multiple versions of a test that you just need to slightly shift around your multiple choice or adjust the questions for some adaptations or alterations for the test for students. So I can also add versions. So if I hit add version and go to 2, this time I actually have a filled in one. So I've already filled in my answers. So I could have been on version 1, printed off one form for me, and filled in my answers so that I could scan and do it that way if it was easier for me. Again, just place it under your camera and use question answers. You can also use this on the webcam of your computer or your mobile device, just whatever works best for you when you do your typical scanning for your students. This time you see that it brought in those multiple choice answers and the key with it. It brought the answers as well. So if I need to shift those around, I can just select on a number and say move up or move down. Maybe I even want to put my multiple or my true false towards the top. I can select multiple as long as they're right next to each other and move those up as well. So my true false are going to be at the beginning. So you can shift those around or make your adjustments as you need to, or you can adjust the question type. For example, in this particular question, it's a fill in the blank, but I don't want to give that much complexity to that particular student. I want to allow them to see what the answer options are, and maybe I want to make this a multiple choice instead of them having to come up with the answer out of nothing. So I can change this to multiple choice because on their test, they have a multiple choice option. So those adjustments are really easy and quick to make just based off of my base scanned form that I added. So say you want to create a form that you have collected digitally. Maybe it's a sample form from GradeCam that you really liked its setup and its layout, but you don't quite know how to make it. The scan to create is a great baseline to go ahead and start. So let me show you this form here. On this form, it's just a quick PE workout, but I have custom headers for every question. It's only 5 questions, and it just will save me a few minutes from having to type each one of these in those questions. So I go over back to my GradeCam account, choose New, Multiple Question, and I'm going to call this PE Scan to Create. Remember, it's just 5 questions, and save. I have this form digitally. You can print it off and use it that way, but just to save some paper, if you want to collect it digitally, you may. So I'm going to hit my File Upload icon. I can either drag it over or select to find. choose the correct file, hit open. You'll see it scan over here, and it's going to pop in those questions and those custom headers in seconds. So I don't have to do that work. You'll see I have my custom scoring. If I tap on the key, it even has the question header as well. So it's just going to save you a few additional minutes and how you can create those forms that you may not know how to build, but at least you can start off with and get them out to your students right away. This will really expand the types of forms that you can use in your classroom.